John Murphy at Murtech.com with your daily news update. Okay, here we are on December the 16th in the year of our Lord 2025. And as usual, guess what? I got a lot of great information for you. Let me just go ahead and click over here, Murtech on Rumble. And this is the video that we're watching tonight, episode 1778, my live stream. Let's just go ahead and click into that video and close out the live chat. Let me slide down here, click the show more button. We have information from Wendy Bell Radio, Doug in Exile, Dr. Steve Turley, and Devory Darkins. But before we get into that, I do need to give some shout outs to Poobah 2, just started following my channel, and News 181 just started following my channel. So thank you very much for following my channel. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in and I hope you enjoy the content. Okay, Ms. Flintstone 17 reposted my daily news wrap-up from last night. Debbie BS reposted my episode 1777 from last night. B. Bailey 49 commented on my daily news wrap-up from last night. Andrea Smith, Cotton Ball 31, and B. Bailey 49 commented on my episode 1777. Yami 21 Lee, Yami 21 Lee commented on my extra 510C, and Faith 427 commented on my extra 562A. So Yami 21 Lee, I mean, that was, 52 days ago, almost 2 months ago. Picked that up. I don't know where that came from, but good deal. All right, let me give this a thumbs up here. And if you don't mind, folks, if you could give me a thumbs up. I have one of those little thumbs up icons right here. I've got four thumbs up already, so that's great. Let's just keep it going. Okay, let's see what Wendy Bell Radio has to say with Unapologetic. Let's get into this. And I hope Rumble is... Here we go.
It's magic, you know.
Well, welcome back to the Wendy Bell Radio program. Just awful, grisly details in the double slaying of Rob Reiner and his wife, Michelle. People Magazine got it right, so I figured I'd stick with them for your sourcing here. Rob Reiner's son, Nick, was found near USC 6 hours after his parents' bodies were discovered in their Brentwood home. He is the suspect in the killings of Rob and Michelle, and just awful, their daughter found their bodies. Can you imagine? You know, that's not, like, that's a personal murder. You know what I mean, too. Murder, of course, is personal, but you can stay far away from somebody and take out their life. But to be there, to have to grab them, I just am horrified. Oh. Nick Reiner was reportedly not at home when their bodies were discovered. 32-year-old left his parents' home in the Brentwood neighborhood, traveled a short distance away to the University of Southern California. Authorities say they were able to quickly locate him near campus. I don't know how they were able to do that, but they were. He was arrested on suspicion of murder. About 9:15 on Sunday, Los Angeles Police Department's Public Information Office confirmed that the location of the suspect's arrest was right near USC. Of course, the details, why it's all coming out, there's a lot of differences in this family. It's like a lot of families, right? A lot of struggle, private struggle, drugs, homelessness, a disconnect. President Trump was asked after he put out a Truth Social yesterday, and I responded to it in real time. I read it to you as it crossed and told you in the moment, and I still agree, I would not have written that. I thought it came off as selfish and narcissistic and inappropriate. Basically, he was saying Rob Reiner suffered from Trump derangement syndrome and really had allowed the diagnosis, if you will, to detour his life. and he was consumed. And he's right. Rob Reiner did, during Trump's first term, glom onto this Russia hoax nonsense that was perpetuated by Comey and all of the gang of merry thieves in the Obama administration. And so he was asked about it yesterday, and I'm going to read you a little something. I'm going to set it up. Trump unapologetic about his response to Rob Reiner's death. He pushed the Russia hoax and knew it was false. Now, I'm trying to come at this from the position of President Trump. He was impeached. He was criminally charged. He was indicted. He got dragged through court cases that everybody knew were nonsense. His life was ultimately put on hold, and everything in his world teetered like on the tip of a needle over a complete fabrication. And of course, Rob Reiner would have to know it was a total fabrication and did not care. President Trump doubled down on a statement he issued on social media in response to actor-director
Hello, I don't understand why it's freezing up. Sorry, folks. Okay,
Rob Reiner's death, pointing out he was not a fan of his at all. Let's listen to what the president said. It was during an Oval Office award ceremony. We'll talk about
at the 26-minute and 11 mark. I don't know why Rumble does this.
From dragging in Rob Reiner's death, pointing out he was not a fan of his at all. Let's listen to what the president said. It was during an Oval Office award ceremony. We'll talk about.
Froze up the same place, 26 minutes and 11 seconds. Hopefully Rumble will catch up with this. I don't understand. I know that Rumble's been hacked a lot here lately. What they do is they have a bunch of bots, like thousands of bots. Boom! Just log in and start doing stuff at one time here. I'm going to check over here. I watched this earlier today. Let me get it up here. Well, I'll tell you what. I'm going to go.
This.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and jump back here. And let's go on and see if Doug in Exile will do this, and then we'll come back to Wendy Bell. Again, I apologize for what's happening here, but let's see what Doug
calls out his own party, the Democrat Party, that is anti.
All right, this is Dems. Listen in horror as John Fetterman drops truth nuke. Truth nukes. Okay, here we go.
Israel. Fetterman calls out his own party, the Democrat Party, that is anti-Israel and pro-Palestinian, that is, they're pro-terrorists and they're pro-Islamic radical.
And when then the Vice President Harris referred to President Trump as a fascist, and I knew absolutely we lost the plot at that point. That kind of extreme kinds of rhetoric makes it easier for those kinds of extreme kinds of actions, even like what happened to poor Charlie Kirk and that. And now why you can't allow people to grieve and now use that an opportunity to criticize or to turn it into something. It's like, it's just basic humanity there. And
John Fetterman's going to get pushed out of that party. Here he is telling the truth. Welcome to Doug in Exile. Well, I'm so rude. Don't forget to subscribe. That's easy to do. Click it. It's free. Just subscribe. You can join the membership. Give us a thumbs up. I like hearing from you. But here I like hearing from John Fetterman.
A moment ago, Lindsey Graham was with me, your colleague from South Carolina, who said a warning to anyone who is trying to say that there should be a Palestinian state. If you create a Palestinian state, what you will get are more killings of Jews. Do you agree?
Absolutely. It's an absolute betrayal for Israel and for the worldwide Jewish community, like whether it's France or Australia or any of these nations, our Western allies now calling for a two-state solution when Hamas refuses to disarm and are actively trying to kill Jews. I can't imagine why anybody would do that.
Yes. No two-state solution. There is no such thing as a Palestine anyways. We're going to get to more of it because John Fetterman is the only sober-brained Democrat out there, big supporter of Israel, and frankly, the anti-Candace Owens, if you know what I mean. Here's John Fetterman's official account on Twitter. Raed Saad was one of the architects of the 10/7, that is the October 7th massacre in 2023. He was the first to go and attack innocent Jews in their intifada. Erasing this coward is justice. I appreciate that. Here's the Axios scoop. White House scolded Benjamin Netanyahu for violating the Gaza ceasefire with a strike when Netanyahu struck Raed Saad, who was one of the architects of the 10/7 massacre. I'm absolutely with John Fetterman on this. I'm against Tucker Carlson. I'm against Candace Owens on that one. But wait, there's more. Here's the New York Times. At least 11 killed after Jewish community is targeted in the Sydney attack. That was a Hanukkah celebration on the beach. Not everyone in the media is being honest about that. But John Fetterman is. After years of anti-Israel protests in Australia, at least 11 Jews were just gunned down at a Hanukkah event. The Tree of Life to the 10/7 massacres in 2023 to Bondi Beach right now. Anti-Semitism is a rising and deadly global scourge. You're in the wrong party, Fetterman. Come to the Republican Party, buddy. I stand and grieve with Israel and the Jewish global community. Well said. But wait, there's more. Here he is, nailing this liberal grifter, podcaster, who's attacking Erica Kirk, just like Candace Owens. He says it's gross and dehumanizing to attack a widow with young children after just witnessing his public assassination. That's true. Same thing with attacking Rob Reiner after he was just slaughtered. It shouldn't be controversial to put our political views aside and extend the grace for a deeply traumatized family to grieve. That is the grace that I extend to the Rob Reiner family, to all these Jews that are getting slaughtered, even if I don't agree with them. It's basic humanity. And Erica Kirk. Liberal podcaster labels widow Erica Kirk a grifter who should be kicked to the curb. That's their reward for Erica. Now, we're going to get to more of this. This spills into Ilhan Omar and the Somali territory inside of our own Minnesota. This is Moynihan's daughter, Lydia Moynihan. We're seeing 70% attacks on women in France. They're all by Islamic Muslim ethnicities.
We need to acknowledge, I think we should absolutely select the best of the best. Mm-hmm. It should be an individual choice.
This is about who you let into your country.
I think we can also acknowledge there are certain cultures that are not compatible with America.
Which ones? Which cultures aren't compatible with America? This is my statement on other cultures. We've been raised in multiculturalism, guys, where it's like, oh, you will adore all other cultures but your own. You will not adore American culture, the American flag, the bald eagle, Trump, eagle, country music, tractor pulls, fried chicken, cornbread, dying for your country, the military, conservatism, Christians, reading the Bible, Christmas hymns. You will not follow that culture. You will be enamored and in love with every other culture on the planet but your own. France. Ooh, what do the French think? Ooh, I love Mexican food. I love escargot. I love Muslims. I love falafel. I love curry. You know what? I think other countries, I hate almost every other culture on the planet. I hate them. I'm not curious about them. I'm not fascinated by them. I don't want to spend time in your other cultures. I think they're hells. That's not a statement against your DNA, your ethnicity, your race. I mean, if I'm going to talk about religions, yes, I'm going to make a statement against the Muslim religion. Doesn't make all Muslims evil, but all of the recent shooters are evil Muslims. That's all I'm saying.
Well, if we look at Europe, actually, there was a lawyer this week who argued that an immigrant who raped a woman shouldn't be charged or shouldn't have a penalty because his culture said that women weren't free and equal. We're seeing...
That's a Democrat to her right. Do you judge other cultures? Yes. And so if it's acceptable in your culture to mutilate women and abuse women, I still judge your culture. And yes, you should be judged by your own culture standards, has a right to judge them and prosecute them.
77% of rapes in France are from migrants. So
77% are from migrants. The problem is not that they're from other countries. The problem is that they're different cultures.
There is a real question that people on the right have
what are the cultures?
About certain cultures.
What are the cultures?
The cultures that are okay with that. The cultures that are okay with female genital mutilation.
Oh, the cultures that are okay with female genital mutilation. You know what culture she's talking about? That would be Ilhan Omar's Somali culture. These Muslim third world hellholes mutilate their daughters. First, we're going to get to, this is the FBI breaking up that terrorist ring. This is extreme left-wing terror. Okay, call it that. They're going to call out the names here. FBI just held a press conference announcing they foiled a massive New Year's Eve attack terror bombing plot in Southern California by far left radicals, known as socialists, known as communists, probably Antifa. The 4 arrested are the Turtle Island Liberation Front, TILF members, all from the LA area. Audrey Carroll. Notice they're not named Muhammad anymore. These are our own homegrown honky kids. She's 30, leader who organized even more extreme Order of the Black Lotus faction. Zachary Aaron Page, age 32. Dante Gaffield, age 24, and Tina Lay, age 41. They were caught red-handed in the Mojave Desert last Friday, unloading bomb-making materials to assemble and test IEDs, explosive devices. Plot details from the complaint: plan to bomb 5 locations in Los Angeles and Orange County, that's from my homeland, on New Year's Eve, explicitly called a terrorist act. Follow-up attacks targeting ICE agents. They're always against the ICE immigration agents. Found death to America, long live the Turtle Island stuff, death to ICE. Our posters are all in their homes. The media will probably bury this because it's not the narrative they want.
The 4 defendants are Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. The pictures, I think we have them somewhere. We'll put them up here. Audrey Carroll, 30 years old. Zachary Aaron Page, 32. Dante Gaffield, 24. And Tina Lay, 41. Each from the Los Angeles area. Each is charged with conspiracy and possession of an unregistered destructive device.
Okay, they're all guilty, guys. We got to get these people. Thank you, Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, for doing your job and stopping a terrorist attack. These are socialists within America and mainstream Democrats within America represent an ideology that is soft on Islam and Muslim terror and then hates Christian whites. You want me to make my case? I'll let Hillary Clinton make it.
The idea that you could turn the clock back and try to recreate a world that never was, dominated by, let's say it, white men of a certain persuasion.
What certain persuasion are those white men, Hillary Clinton? She said, we're trying to set the clock back and make this place dominant for white men and Christians. Look at her target them. She would never say this about Muslims that genitally mutilate their youth.
A certain religion, a certain point of view.
Religion, Christianity. It's not Islam. That's not what she's talking about.
A certain ideology. It's just doing such damage to what we should be aiming for. And we were on the path toward that. I mean, imperfectly, lots of, bumps along the way. But I agree with you. We were on the right trajectory.
We were on the right trajectory of letting all these illegals in, Muslims in.
Just like Israel, Australia does not have a right to exist.
Somali culture goes against Western values. 99% of Somali women aged 15 to 49 have undergone extreme female genital mutilations when they dig it all out, guys. And it is disgusting. It is painful. It is evil. 40% are married as minors. 40% of these Somalis are married under 18, often to family members. And to top it off, Somalia is the most corrupt nation on the planet. That's what's happening in Minnesota. world. Here's Tom Cotton calling it out.
And sir, more than half of Jewish Americans report experiencing some sort of anti-Semitism.
Are you guys comfortable with that? 50% of Jewish Americans are getting anti-Semitism
in the past year.
Are you contributing to it, Candace Owens?
Nearly 8 in 10 are concerned about it in America. You also have a global outlook because of your position on the Intelligence Committee. What do you know, or what can you tell us about the chatter about these kinds of attacks that are going on, and we see them popping up lots of different places?
Like Los Angeles.
Well, unfortunately, there's been a rising wave of anti-Semitism around the world,
including right-wingers and in MAGA, which I've called out. They've all unsubscribed. We're going to end on this guy, Fetterman, again, got an award by the Jews, and that'll really bug people. Again, like I said, guys, I don't think Israel has any supernatural special role post-Christ, but they're a great ally. I would defend them, and I love them.
I received a presidential medal from Yeshiva University. And I said, oh my God, I mean, that's an amazing honor, but I don't deserve that, because the prior honoree was the man that helped develop the Iron Dome. That's, you know, and I'm like, I don't belong in the same category.
This guy is humble. Guys, let me know in the chat below, how long before John Fetterman can't stand being in the anti-Semite Democrat Party? And of course, we can't let that into the Republican Party, or once again, we'll just be another Democrat Party. What do you guys think? Will John Fetterman join us? I'm Doug in Exile.
All right, there you go, folks. I thought that was good information that I wanted to share with you here. So as you can see, this video does come from Doug in Exile. I am following his channel. Subscribe to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, I'm going to jump back here. All right, and I'm going to jump down to Dr. Steve Turley and see if this video from Rumble will have any issues. This just leaked about AOC, and it's disaster. It's a disaster.
Two. We just uncovered something about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that exposes literally everything you need to know about the socialist movement in America today. And by the end of this video, you're going to see the undeniable pattern that connects AOC's behavior to every single failed socialist regime in history. This isn't just about hypocrisy anymore. This is about an ideology destined for the ash heap of history, and we're about to see precisely why. Hey gang, it's me, Dr. Steve, your patron professor, here to help you make sense of the madness as the far left desperately tries to stop the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age that you're making happen all over the world. So if you want a front row seat on how you're changing the world in ways you never even imagined, make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. The new Federal Election Commission filings just dropped, and they revealed that the sitting member of Congress, who's the single loudest critic of the rich in America, couldn't help her own indulgence in a lifestyle bathed in wealth. AOC's campaign spent nearly $50,000 in Puerto Rico between June and September of this year. We're talking luxury hotels, high-end restaurants, and massive venue rentals. AOC's campaign dropped over $15,000 on lodging at two upscale San Juan hotels, the Hotel Palacio Provincial and Hotel El Convento. Now, keep in mind, this is all as AOC's repeatedly criticized the gentrification that's been happening in Puerto Rico of late. The Hotel Palacio Provincial is an adults-only boutique hotel in a 19th century historic building where rooms start at nearly $300 a night and suites go for well over $400. One single payment to this hotel from Cortez's campaign on September 29th was nearly $10,000. Then there's the dining. AOC's campaign spent over $10,000 in catering and meals at some of San Juan's most exclusive restaurants, the kind of spots where the elites go to see and be seen. But here's where it gets really interesting. The filings show that AOC's campaign spent more than $23,000 on, quote, venue rental at the Coliseo de Puerto Rico, the same arena where she was caught on video dancing it up in a suite at a Bad Bunny concert back in August. So she literally rented the venue at one of Puerto Rico's largest and most prestigious arenas, enjoyed a Bad Bunny concert, filmed herself having the time of her life, and then charged it all to her campaign funds. Now, remember, this is the same AOC who wrote on Facebook that very same summer, quote, Puerto Rico is an island for working people. We won't be pushed out just so vulture capitalists can cash in. She was literally railing against greedy millionaires and gentrification, all the while dropping 50 grand on luxury getaways. I mean, you literally can't make this stuff up. And it doesn't stop there. This Puerto Rico spending spree is just the latest chapter in AOC's champagne socialist lifestyle. So earlier this year, during her Fighting Oligarchy tour with Bernie Sanders, you heard that right, Fighting Oligarchy, she was caught red-handed deplaning a private jet that costs, again, I kid you not, $15,000 per hour. But as it turns out, that was just the tip of the iceberg. We've since learned that her campaign spent thousands more on luxury accommodation. She dropped $3,500 at the Videra Hotel and Spa in Las Vegas, a 5-star resort on the Strip with views, the Bellagio fountain. She spent $3,500 on the Asher Adams autograph collection, Salt Lake City, where the restaurant serves $900 bottles of wine and $95 caviar appetizers. She racked up nearly $3,500 at the Hotel Vermont in Burlington. She even spent $6,300 at a fancy DC restaurant called Ama. All of this while telling you, the working American, that billionaires shouldn't exist and that we need to tax the rich into oblivion. She's one of you. But the key with AOC is that none of this is new. FEC and ethics investigations have found repeated appearances of violations on AOC's part. For example, you remember that Met Gala event that she attended back in 2021 when she wore the tax the rich dress. The House Ethics Committee officially found that AOC violated House ethics rules by getting a sweetheart deal on that dress. She underpaid for it by approximately $3,000, and she improperly accepted a free $35,000 ticket for her then boyfriend, Riley Roberts. She actually entered office shrouded in scandal back in during her 2018 congressional campaign. Her campaign manager at the time reportedly funneled over $1 million campaign dollars to his own personal companies that he owned. So there's a whole clear pattern of behavior here. And it's not just AOC. I mean, AOC learned it from the master herself, Nancy Pelosi, who runs around denouncing the rich while making tens of millions of dollars on insider trading. She's been doing it for years. Just imagine how much you could make if you had the same insider trading information that Nancy Pelosi has. Well, guess what? You and I actually do.
Okay, he's going into a commercial here, so
AOC and Pelosi is a pattern that's endemic to socialism itself. It's a pattern that repeats itself every single time socialism takes hold. Let me explain. So socialism promises equality, right? It promises to lift up the working class and tear down the wealthy elites. But what actually happens every single time is that socialism serves as the vehicle to simply create a new ruling class, a ruling class that lives in luxury while everyone else suffers. Now, that kind of corruption isn't a bug in the system. It's a feature. I mean, look at Venezuela. Hugo Chavez promised to fight corruption and redistribute wealth to help the poor. What happened? Massive nationalizations, price controls, and welfare expansion didn't just lead to economic collapse. Reports are that Venezuelan regime officials have siphoned off more than $500 billion for themselves in the process. That's $500 billion stolen while the Venezuelan people starved. The regime created a system where party officials and military leaders enjoyed privileges unavailable to ordinary citizens. But again, that's just par for the course when you create a new political class on the backs of taxpayers. Or look at Cuba. I mean, Fidel Castro claimed he would eliminate the corruption of the previous regime, and instead, his government institutionalized corruption through government monopolies, cronyism, and lack of accountability. High-ranking members of Cuba's elite were able to enjoy privileges that ordinary citizens could never access. The state controlled everything, which created perfect conditions for corruption to flourish. And don't even get me started on the Soviet Union. The entire system ran on greed and corruption. Why does this always happen? It's because socialism concentrates enormous power and wealth in the hands of government officials. By virtue of their confiscatory policies, they suddenly become privy to the same power and wealth that they denounced entrepreneurs and business owners of having. And the irony is that they end up engaging in the very corruption they accuse wealthy business owners of engaging in. But it's infinitely worse, because when the state controls the means of production, distribution, and exchange, when it controls where people work, what they produce, businesses, housing, food, healthcare, education, literally everything, the people running that system in effect become untouchable. They become unequal equalizers. And there's no independent checks and balances, no free press to hold them accountable, no competing power centers to balance against government authority. And here's the brutal truth that Lord Acton understood centuries ago. Power tends to corrupt, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. When you give fallible human beings total control over an economy and tell them, they're building utopia, they're inevitably going to start serving themselves. They'll tell themselves they deserve the nice hotels and the expensive meals because of the important work they're doing. They rationalize their privileges as necessary for their mission. And before long, the gap between the ruling elite and the people they claim to represent becomes an unassailable chasm. That's exactly what we're seeing with AOC and Bernie Sanders. Bernie owns 3 homes, gang. He owns 3 freaking homes worth nearly $2 million. His net worth is estimated to be upwards of $5 million, putting him in the top 1% wealthiest Americans. He made over $1 million in both 2016 and 2017, primarily from book royalties. And yet he tours the country with AOC, lecturing working class Americans about the oligarchy. He is the oligarchy. AOC herself attended Boston University, a private school that costs over $70,000 per year. She went to the Met Gala, as you saw, where tickets cost over $35,000 each. This is the socialist playbook. And it's always the same. Promise equality, concentrate power, and then live like kings while everyone else suffers. The difference is that in places like Venezuela and Cuba, they had total control, and they could at least hide their corruption for a time. Whereas in Trump's America, their corruption lays bare for all to see. Socialism always ends in corruption. It's not about the specific people or the specific country. It's about the system itself. When you concentrate power and eliminate accountability, you create the perfect environment for those in charge to enrich themselves. So the next time AOC lectures you about inequality, remember where her campaign money goes. Remember the luxury hotels, the expensive meals, the Bad Bunny concerts. And remember that this is exactly how it starts every single time.
Absolutely.
Hey, before you go, gang,
All right, but we're going to go ahead and go on. He's doing another commercial here, so let me click on the Rumble link and show you this video does come from Dr. Steve Turley.
Serving them.
I am following his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to Devory Darkins, and we'll come back to Wendy Bell, hopefully. All right. D.C. Police Chief caught manipulating crime data in shocking report. Amazing. I think we've heard about this before. Now, that doesn't look like the right video. Let me jump over here, and here we go. That's it. Okay, and this is coming from Rumble 2. Here we go. Okay, I think, let me refresh this. I'm going to do a quick refresh here, and hopefully the audio is not coming through. Man, Rumble's giving me a hard time. So, yeah, let me go ahead and get this taken care of, and I'll be right back with you, folks. Just give me. Okay, here, folks. Let me go ahead and get my screens pulled up here. I did a quick refresh on this. All right. Okay, let me open the description box. Let's try Wendy Bell. See what happens here. God, I can't believe it.
of Russia, a deranged.
Of Republicans have denounced your statement on Truth Social after the murder of Rob Reiner. Do you stand by that post?
Well, I wasn't a fan of his at all. He was a deranged person as far as Trump is concerned. He said he knew it was false. In fact, it's the exact opposite, that I was a friend of Russia, controlled by Russia. You know, it was the Russia hoax. He was one of the people behind it. I think he hurt himself in career-wise. He became like a deranged person, Trump derangement syndrome. So I was not a fan of Rob Reiner at all in any way, shape, or form. I thought he was very bad for our country. Yeah.
I thought he was very bad for our country. That's an interesting thing to say. In September of 2017, Rob Reiner joined forces with Barack Obama government alumni, left-wing journalists, and other Trump critics to launch the Committee to Investigate Russia, a, quote, nonprofit, nonpartisan, resource provided to help Americans recognize and understand the gravity of Russia's continuing attacks on our democracy, the group's website reads. Reiner spent years spreading falsehoods about Trump and his 2016 presidential campaign, repeatedly alleging unproven ties to the Kremlin. So I would imagine there would be a visceral reaction from somebody who'd been under attack for the better part of, 8 years? 8 years tied to garbage? I mean, consider we're only 4, 5 years now into the January 6th hoax? Almost double that. That's how long they've been after this guy. And yet, I believe Donald Trump wakes up every day with one focus. And that is to help you with your shakes, to give you hope, to provide some semblance of calm, to provide a common sense that has long been missing in this country. We have just survived an absolutely ridiculous chapter of American history. And the guy they had to cheat is the same guy they blamed the results of their failed policies on. So damn right, President Trump has a perspective, and he's earned the right to exercise it. It is what it is. When we come back on the Wendy Bell radio program, a culture of blackmail and bullying inside the D.C. Police Department. What? It's so shocking. Next on the Wendy Bell Radio Network.
Okay, let me get this forward here. I apologize, folks, for the issues with, the audio not coming through and the videos freezing.
I don't know
up.
why there's an E.
Let me see what we got going here. Oh, I hope we can get this moving.
You're desensitized to the Wendy Bell radio program. You struggle to not get to that point where you're desensitized to the suck, right? Where it happens so regularly. People disappoint you. The headlines are such a letdown that you almost become numb, right? You're just sort of blissfully ignorant, just sort of walking around like, yeah, I'm sure that's going on. I'd rather not know the details. Well, we got to know the details. Because there's a reason why the past administration had to fudge all of the numbers. They had to lie about the jobs. They had to go back and correct with errata sheets their January 6th eyewitness testimony because they lied under oath. They lied about the accuracy of the COVID vaccine. They lied about the deaths, numbers. They lied about everything. They lied about inflation. It's transitory. They lied about the border. It's secure. Everything's super duper. I swear to you right now. Right? And we're like, I'm sorry, but I've seen the same video you've seen. Until, of course, they shut down the airspace. Shh. Don't let people see. Right? Sort of like how I felt when they put up all the tarp around the burn zone in Lahaina. What exactly are you hiding from besides the truth. So I'm not going to be desensitized to the growing mountain of suck that we're learning about the DEI hires and other jerks associated with the Biden administration. Look, there's a reason why I appreciated Clarence Thomas back in the 90s, right? He was against affirmative action. He was like, it's a bad idea. How can you say that? Said fellow Black Americans. He was like, do you understand that we have plenty of skill and God-given talent in our group of people? We don't need to fudge the system. You don't need to rig the game. You don't need to give us an unfair advantage, because every time you do that, you have somebody question a Black person's success and say, well, we know why they're here. And Clarence Thomas said that was so injurious. He's correct. There are much better Black leaders out there than some of these complete boobs who, I guess, failed upwards, namely this piece of work called Pam Smith. So she's an outgoing commander in the DC Police Department, okay? Black woman. Shouldn't matter. Shouldn't matter what you are, who you are, what you look like. They make it matter, okay? DEI made it matter. So if we don't look scrutinizingly through the magnifying glass at these individuals, what are we going to do? Repeat the same mistakes again and again and put people in positions that clearly they're not qualified for? Well, I'm going to read you this. DC police chief accused of fudging crime data by any means necessary in a blistering report. Why would you need to fudge crime data? I'm going to go with, because you opened up the freaking border and welcomed 20 million people, a lot of them criminals, into our country. And what did criminals do? They do criminal things. They rape, they carjack, they murder, they kidnap. They do all of these things. Unless, of course, you don't report it. And then, poof, just like that. There's no problem. Really. DC Police Chief Pam Smith pushed officers to lower crime statistics by any means necessary, including by categorizing even some violent offenses so they were not reported publicly, according to a scathing congressional report issued Sunday. The findings cast doubt on any city data showing violent crime fell by 35% and property crime fell by 11% last year. It was all bullcrap. And by the way, those of us who are not hypnotized were like, say what? That's so not what's going on. And then what did every politician in the world say? Crime is down across America under Joe Biden in his hyperbaric chamber when he's on vacation for 40%, getting whatever injected into his body he could, right? It's all down. No, it's not. Ask the people who live there. Lo and behold, the media wouldn't go and find out. Interviews with 7 of the DC police district commanders revealed to the House Oversight Committee that their chief pushed them to misclassify some assault and burglary charges that would be upset over the daily tally of publicly reported crimes and at times berate them for reporting the statistics on the ground. One of those commanders, the 3rd District's Michael Pulliam, was suspended and put on paid leave after being accused of fudging that data. There are 4 types of violent crimes and 5 property crimes regularly reported to the public every day: homicide, sexual abuse, assault with a dangerous weapon.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got to jump in here, right here. This is something that really irritates me to no end. These people get caught doing something and they put them on paid leave? Paid vacation? Okay, you screwed up. So, okay, all right, well, we'll teach you a lesson. You have to go home and we're going to go ahead and pay you, okay? So you don't have to come to work and we're going to go ahead and pay you. Now, how do you like those apples? That's an incentive to frickin' screw up. Go home and get paid. What the hell?
Weapon, robbery, burglary, motor vehicle theft, theft from a vehicle, and other theft and arson. The report was issued mere days after D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser abruptly announced on December 8th that Smith, who'd been in office since July of 23, when, during the height of DEI garbage, that she would resign this month. I wonder why. Ahead of a parallel Justice Department report that's expected to make similar findings. Chief Smith, police district commanders testified, was so preoccupied with the statistics of the select crimes that were made public that she incentivized her subordinates to lower those crimes by whatever means necessary, the 21-page House Oversight Committee report stated. Here's Fox News reporting on this outgoing D.C. police commander cooking the books, creating a culture of punitive retaliation. It all sounds so familiar under the Biden administration, doesn't it?
Led House Oversight Committee now releasing a report accusing the outgoing D.C. police chief of manipulating data to artificially lower crime statistics. Bill Malusian looking at the numbers. He's live on the Hill with this. Bill, what you find out?
Bill, good morning to you. Those House Oversight Committee Republicans say the bottom line of what their investigation found is that the outgoing D.C. police chief was essentially cooking the books on crime data and trying to make the city seem a whole lot safer than it really was. Now, those House Republicans say what their investigation consisted of was interviewing all 7 commanders of D.C. Metro Police's patrol districts, including a former commander who's currently suspended for allegedly tampering with crime stats in his own district. And these are some of the conclusions they've made in their report. They allege that D.C. Metro Police Chief Pamela Smith pressured commanders to report lower crime stats by any means necessary. The commanders testified that Chief Smith even pushed them to pursue lesser charges that aren't publicly reported, even for serious crimes, and she required certain crimes to be reviewed by her office. Now, the report also says police commanders testified that Chief Smith punished them and retaliated against them if they tried to report accurate rising crime data, even berating them in meetings and individually to pressure them into reporting those lower crime figures. Now, in a statement on the report, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says in part, quote, Chief Pamela Smith coerced staff to report artificially low crime data and cultivated a culture of fear to achieve her agenda.
Isn't that so familiar? We're going to change the data, which is why I tell you I never believe polls.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause that there, and I will share this video in my daily news wrap-up, so we will take off where we left off here. But let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Wendy Bell Radio. I am following her channel. I've given her a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, we're going to jump back here and hopefully play Devory Darkins video, which is talking about the pretty much the same thing. In fact, he is talking about the same thing. D.C. police chief caught manipulating crime data in shocking report. But we're going to get you've heard a white lady's thoughts on this? Okay, let's get Devory Darkins, a black man's take on this. See how he feels about that.
Absolutely. You see, back in the day, and I brought up this point, you guys can confirm it for the people who are older than me, you used to police up your own community, police up your own neighborhood. People start getting out of line, you call them out, you hold them accountable. You can't do that today. You try to hold somebody accountable. Oh, you're a racist, you're a bigot, you're a coon. What are you doing? That's the initial response every time. Instead of saying, hey, you know what? We just have to do better. We have to see this story, particularly about the DC police chief. It will get no news. This is only going to be probably on Newsmax, Fox News, and the local affiliate. That's it. That's it. Maybe Charlemagne on the Breakfast Club will talk about it. Maybe. We'll see. Because, every now and then they will surprise us by calling out corruption, but I doubt it. What was my point? My point is there's a huge double standard, or I would say this unwillingness to do the very thing we demand of other cultures. So black people go out there and we demand the white people to treat us fairly. We demand them to meet high standards. We demand them to have integrity. But when we get into positions and we don't have any of that, we don't want anybody holding us accountable. Come on now. Can't have it both ways. Just can't do it. All right. So let's hear this, because this is an investigation kicked off by Congress.
Republican-led House Oversight Committee now releasing a report accusing the outgoing D.C. police chief of manipulating data to artificially lower crime statistics. Bill Malusian looking at the numbers. He's live on the Hill with this. Bill, what you find out?
Bill, good morning to you. Those House Oversight Committee Republicans say the bottom line of what their investigation found is that the outgoing D.C. police chief was essentially cooking the books on crime data and trying to make the city seem a whole lot safer than it really was. Now, those House Republicans say what their investigation consisted of was interviewing all 7 commanders of D.C. Metro Police's patrol districts, including a former commander who's currently suspended for allegedly tampering with crime stats in his own district. And these are some of the conclusions they've made in their report. They allege that D.C. Metro Police Chief Pamela Smith pressured commanders to report lower crime stats by any means necessary. The commanders testified that Chief Smith even pushed them to pursue lesser charges that aren't publicly reported, even for serious crimes, and she required certain crimes to be reviewed by her office. Now, the report also says police commanders testified that Chief Smith punished them and retaliated against them if they tried to report accurate rising crime data, even berating them in meetings and individually to pressure them into reporting those lower crime figures.
Republican-led House Oversight Committee now releasing a report.
Okay. You guys get it? You guys get it? So you're essentially looking to criticize, threaten, coerce law enforcement officials into faking crime data. Is that actually what a police chief should do? It's just interesting. I don't know how they justify this. And this always takes me back to what I like to say often, which is most of these people in Congress, they're not serious. They're not serious with actually helping the American people, because stuff like this should be called out. It should be called out. Give me a second, guys. I'm trying to fix something here. It should be called out. And of course, it's not going to happen because everybody's got their own political career that they're more concerned with. They're not actually concerned with the well-being of their neighborhoods. And I think that's a fair criticism. Again, it goes back to, and this is interesting, how many of you guys know this? It goes back to local elections. How do you justify this? All right, let's continue.
In a statement on the report, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer says in part, quote, Chief Pamela Smith coerced staff to report artificially low crime data and cultivated a culture of fear to achieve her agenda. Chief Smith's decision to mislead the public by manipulating crime statistics is dangerous and undermines trust in both local leadership and law enforcement. And that report went on to say that those D.C. police commanders testified that President Trump's federal takeover of their department and his deployment of the National Guard to the streets here in D.C. were both effective in terms of reducing overall crime.
Both effective. Both effective. Both effective. But hey, President Trump is a white supremacist, right? That's what they want us to believe. They say that he's out there trying to target black people, that he's holding them back, that he's the one president who's gone after the black community more than anything else. That's what.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pause this here. Now, isn't this interesting that, I mean, you get Devory Darkins and Wendy Bell talking about this and how this is actually happening. And from information that I've heard, it's not just D.C., it's Los Angeles, San Francisco, Chicago, Detroit, Baltimore. all these Democrat-run cities are, in the last few years, have stopped reporting the crimes that are taking place. These Democrat-run cities do not want the attention being drawn to them about the crimes in their own cities. Why do they want to have crime in their cities? That's the thing that baffles me. President Trump has offered numerous times to help out, send in the National Guard to get the crime under control. But no, they don't want that. They complain that he's just picking on American citizens. Well, if American citizens are raping somebody, or American citizens are robbing somebody, or American citizens are murdering somebody, those American citizens need to be arrested and put in jail. It doesn't matter what color their skin is. Those American people are depriving other American people of their rights, of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What is it about these Democrats, then, the people that are Democrats, go out and continue to vote these people in? I can't believe it. There's some kind of derangement syndrome out there. I don't know if it's Trump. It's probably the Democrat derangement syndrome. Because why do they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, voting these people in that are destroying where they live? Devory talked about it. It's got to be local. Okay, all right. Then why do Democrats keep voting Democrats in to destroy their own home environment? I don't get it. I just don't get it. Whew, I'm glad I got that off my chest. Let me go ahead and share this information here with you, and then we'll move on.
Still haven't tried 1775 coffee? Now's your shot. The 1775 starter kit just dropped, only 1,000 units. You're getting the bold dark roast that hits hard, the smooth medium roast, and the Vitality Mushroom Coffee for clean energy and laser focus, no crash.
All single origin, small batch, toxin-free, and mold-free. Plus, you're also getting a gold spoon clip because freedom isn't scooped with plastic. A frother strong enough to stir up your coffee and your mother-in-law's opinions. And a black 1775 tumbler.
$170 worth of coffee and gear. Yours for $99. This is for the ones who've been watching 1775 blow up on Rumble, wondering if it's actually worth it. Spoiler, it is.
Go to 1775coffee.com/studio and grab your starter kit before they're gone. Bold beans, clean fuel, and a morning routine that stands for something, just like Rumble does.
All right, folks. Here we are. I've copied the chat into a comment box so that the live chat will be permanent with this video. And let me remind you here that these videos that I've shared with you as best I could when Rumble wasn't hanging up or stalling, these videos come directly from the producers that created them, okay? I've got the link to the videos here in the description box, as well as a link to the channels of the producers. So if you click on Devory Darkins down here, it's going to take you to his channel right there. Okay? And this is the video that I shared with you. Now, he's dropped another one since then, and I'll probably add that to Murtech.com tomorrow. These videos that I've shared with you are videos that I've posted on Murtech.com. Right there's the video that I shared with you today from Devory. Right here's the video from Doug in Exile that I shared with you. I'd like to share all this information with you. I have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos here at Murtech.com. But unfortunately, I don't have the time to do so. And that is why I put together my daily news wrap-up. Here's the list of videos that I'm going to share with you tonight, starting at about 9:30. I'm going to finish up with the Wendy Bell video that I shared with you, some X-22 report, We the People news, some more X-22 report, is episode 3797A, which is financial information, and 3797B, which is political, geopolitical information. The Rubin report, Bongino report, Black Conservative Perspective, Benny Johnson, a lot of great information in here for you folks, so please don't miss that. But go ahead and take a break, grab a cup of coffee and a donut, or a soft drink and a sandwich or a beer, and meet me back here at 9:30. Give me a chance to check my playlist, make sure there's nothing else that I want to share with you, and also set up my Rumble studio, and hopefully we'll get this going here by 9:30. But with that being said, I do want to thank you for your spending your time with me this evening. I greatly appreciate that. Please share this out with your friends, contacts, and family members, even though there's a few glitches in it. Sorry. And hopefully we'll get the news out there so people can have an understanding of the truth rather than the lies and propaganda that they're getting from the lying legacy media in Deep State Swamp. With that being said, I do thank you for spending your time with me. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless.